Most guys won't admit it, but I'm about to reveal the real reasons why men get so frustrated in relationships. Gentlemen, relationships can be one of the most beautiful yet challenging experiences of our lives. While love brings joy, it also brings trials that can leave us feeling frustrated, confused, and sometimes even questioning our worth. Today I want to talk about that frustration, what it means, why we feel it, and how we can turn it into a force for growth rather than something that holds us back. Frustration often stems from a place of unmet expectations. We go into relationships with hopes and dreams about how things should be, and when reality doesn't align with those expectations, frustration sets in. Maybe we feel unappreciated, misunderstood, or as though we're giving more than we're getting. But here's the truth. Frustration is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal, a call to address something deeper within ourselves and our relationships. One of the biggest sources of frustration is communication, or the lack of it. How often have you found yourself unable to express what's really going on inside? Or maybe when you do, it feels like your words aren't being heard. This can leave you feeling isolated even in the most intimate relationships. But here's the thing. Communication is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. The key is learning how to communicate openly and honestly, without fear of judgment. Another common source of frustration is the feeling that you're not being valued. Men often feel pressure to provide, protect, and perform. But what happens when those efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated? It's easy to feel like you're taken for granted, which can build resentment. But instead of holding on to that bitterness, use it as an opportunity to reassess your needs and express them clearly. You deserve to be seen and valued for what you bring to the relationship. It's also important to remember that frustration can arise from unrealistic societal expectations. Men are often taught to be stoic, strong, and to never show vulnerability. But carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders without expressing your emotions is a recipe for frustration. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's about being honest with yourself and your partner, admitting when you're hurt or confused, and seeking understanding. Frustration in relationships is often tied to a fear of losing control. Whether it's control over how things are progressing or how your partner responds to you, the feeling of not being able to control the outcome can be overwhelming. But the truth is, we can't control everything, especially not another person. What we can control, however, is our own actions, our responses, and how we show up in the relationship. Many men also experience frustration when they feel like they're not living up to their own potential in a relationship. Maybe you feel like you could be doing more, being more attentive, or providing better. But instead of letting this frustration weigh you down, let it inspire you to grow. Relationships are about partnership, and every man has the capacity to improve, to be more emotionally present, and to create a deeper connection. Sometimes frustration comes from feeling misunderstood. You may be doing your best to be a good partner, but it can feel like your efforts are going unnoticed or misinterpreted. It's frustrating when your actions don't seem to match how your partner perceives them. This is where patience and empathy come into play. Relationships are a two-way street, and understanding your partner's perspective can help bridge that gap of misunderstanding. It's also crucial to recognize that frustration can be a result of unmet personal needs. In the rush to meet your partner's needs, you may be neglecting your own. This is not sustainable. Self-care, personal time, and maintaining your own interests are vital in keeping frustration at bay. When you take care of yourself, you can show up as a better partner. Frustration can also be a sign of stagnation. If a relationship isn't growing, it's easy to feel trapped. Every relationship goes through phases, and sometimes you may feel stuck in a routine or pattern that no longer excites or fulfills you. Use this frustration as a wake-up call to initiate change, have tough conversations, or inject new energy into the relationship. Perhaps one of the hardest forms of frustration is feeling emotionally disconnected. You might be physically present in the relationship, but emotionally, you're drifting. This disconnection can stem from past hurts, unresolved issues, or simply growing apart. It's important to confront this disconnection head-on, rather than avoiding it. Addressing emotional distance takes courage but can reignite the bond between you and your partner. Ultimately, frustration in relationships is inevitable. It's part of the human experience. But it's how we handle that frustration that defines us. Instead of letting it consume us, we can use it as an opportunity to grow, both as individuals and as partners. Relationships are not about perfection. They're about progress. And every moment of frustration is a chance to learn more about yourself, your partner, and how to create a stronger connection. So gentlemen, don't let frustration be your enemy. Let it be your guide. Use it to understand what you need, where you can improve, and how you can communicate better. Turn your frustration into fuel for growth, and you'll find that not only does your relationship improve, but you become a stronger, more fulfilled version of yourself.